Joining me right now is National Border Patrol Council President Brandon Judd. Brandon, thanks very much for being here. You were the first person to tell me when we had our team on the ground in Del Rio earlier this year that this crisis is broadening out into Yuma. You told me about all of the thousands of arrests that you had made and your team was making just in about a week's time. Tell me more about what you're seeing on the ground right now, Brandon.
Yeah, it's completely and totally unfortunate. When you look at, historically speaking, the Border Patrol, we've always faced one or two hot spots. Right now, we are battling in 4 different areas, Yuma being the newest area, but we just do not have the resources or the personnel to be able to handle 4 different areas where we have to battle it, and we're losing this war. When you look at the number of people that we're taking into custody, that's bad enough. But we're not even focusing on the dangerous aspect, which is the gotaways. And the reason why we can't focus on the gotaways is because we're pulling all of our resources into process. And it doesn't take a law enforcement officer to process, but those are the people that we're pulling out of the field. We're putting them into processing, and we're leaving the border completely and totally wide open in Yuma. We're taking resources from Tucson and transferring them to Yuma, leaving the border in Tucson wide open. So when you look at these numbers, when you look at the total apprehensions, but then, of course, when you look at the gotaways, that's the important part, because we can't go after the criminality because of this administration's policies. This administration's policies, they're more worried about processing people and getting them out the door rather than going after the criminality that exists on the border.
Unbelievable. So we are on track to have, 600,000 gotaways this fiscal year. 600,000 people who got away. How do we know they got away? Are they seen on surveillance cameras? And these are the ones we know are gotaways, right? Is this number much higher than this in reality?
It is much higher. The 600,000 we're on pace for, those are the ones that we detect either via camera, ground sensors. There's many different ways, the drones. There's many different ways to detect these individuals. These are the ones that we actually detect. There's a good number of people that we don't detect. If you talk to any Border Patrol agent on the ground like myself, we would tell you that we detect approximately 70 to 80% of what crosses the border. So there's another 30 to 20% that are completely and totally getting away that we don't even know about. And again, that's the dangerous part, and that's the scary part about border security. We cannot be pulling law enforcement officers out of the field and put them in processing when you can put anybody in processing. You can activate FEMA and put them in and have them do the processing. There's a lot of different things that you can do rather than pulling law enforcement. If we cannot go after the criminality that exists on the border, we're going to continue to see this crisis grow. 600,000 known gotaways. We're on pace for 2 million apprehensions. We're on pace to shatter every single record that the Border Patrol has ever had.
And this dangerous trek to get here is also something to note. I know that I've seen some of these ads on TikTok and social media where the Mexican cartels try to get young kids, American citizens, to be the getaway car to take these people from the border to Houston and beyond. A mother and daughter were killed in Texas this weekend after a human smuggler crashed into their car while being chased by police. The alleged smuggler, an 18-year-old American citizen, Brandon. We continue to hear these stories because the Mexican cartels are luring them on social media.
Yeah, and that's, again, if it weren't for policy, all of this would go away. When you look at everything that we could do, I get asked all the time, do you need more resources? Do you need more technology? Do you need more infrastructure? And I get asked this by U.S. politicians, and I tell them all the time, no, give me policy. Don't pass this cost on to the American taxpayer. We don't need all of these new things. We need to go back to President Trump's policies. If we go back to that, we have historic lows in illegal immigration. And when we have historic lows in illegal immigration, United States citizens are protected. We don't have these people fleeing, running from police officers, from Border Patrol agents, crashing into United States citizens. We hear almost every day a new horror story where a United States citizen has either been killed or injured by somebody that is here illegally or somebody that is associated with criminal cartels. We have to stop this. We have to protect the American public. Yet this administration doesn't want to. They continue to pander to their far left base, which is dangerous for the American public.
This is just so dangerous. It's unbelievable. We haven't even discussed the drugs. Enough fentanyl seized to kill 200 million Americans, another issue. But then you've got these polls that show how Americans feel about it. A new ABC News Ipsos poll shows 63% of Americans disapprove of how President Biden is handling immigration. Brandon, your thoughts on where this is going? I mean, clearly they refuse to call it a crisis. If they don't acknowledge it for what it is, do you expect any change? Like, for example, what about Remain in Mexico? Are you seeing the Remain in Mexico policy reinstated, or are they blowing off the federal court ruling?
No, they're completely slow rolling the MPP or Remain in Mexico policy. The reason that they're doing that is they can't prove that President Trump was right. If they do it, if they implement this program properly, again, it will drop illegal immigration to historic lows. When they do that, it will prove to the American public that President Trump was right. And they refuse to do that. But when you go back to, again, looking at policies, this administration is truly acting like it's a one and done administration. They're acting like they don't even care about a second term. They understand that they have 4 years to get as many leftist policies in place as they possibly can, and that's what it looks like they're doing. It truly does not even feel like this administration even wants to run again.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe they are looking at this as one and done. Let's jam through as much as possible, because they're completely ignoring the inflation numbers as well and trying to push through more spending.
Yeah, it's again, it's far leftist policies that this administration is going after. It is the exact opposite of what President Biden promised on the campaign trail. He promised to be a centrist. He's not a centrist. He's pushing all kinds of policies that are very far left. And again, that's what's so scary and dangerous for the American public. And I truly hope that everybody wakes up. These polls on everything from immigration to economy to foreign policy, everything. This administration is failing the American public, and we've got to wake up to that fact.
Yeah, they sure are. Brandon, it's great to have you on the program. Thanks very much for all of your work. You and your team doing a great job trying to protect America. Brandon Judd joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.